Tactical against technical. How can somebody play a match tactically and win over somebody like Ebinuma, who is one of the biggest throwers in the whole world, 3-time world champion? If he gets two hands on you, he's going to throw you for Ippon. Ciloglu of Turkey, he came out, he had his own game plan. And you know, it's funny because I was approached by people in Paris who said to me, how can this happen? It's not right. Ebinuma should win every time. But the point is that it doesn't happen like that. Tactics sometimes can win through. Ciloglu came out with a game plan. It was a totally different one, but he outplayed Ebinuma. He beat him to the metaphorical punch every single time, and actually his game plan won. But what he was willing to do was to change part the way through the match. Ebinuma didn't. Ebinuma kept the same game plan going all the way through the match, and in the end he receives 3 Shidos for it and gets disqualified out of the match. Is it right or is it wrong? All right, have a look at this and you tell me. Just to set the stage for this particular match, and it really is about opposing styles. This is Ebinuma of Japan, one of the, well, 3-time world champion and one of the greatest throwers in the under 73 kilos category, of course, now, but he was under 66 kilos before. Here he is against Ciloglu of Turkey, and this is a right-hander against a left-hander, and two totally different styles of judo. Of course, you have Ebinuma, who is the one of the biggest throwers, and of course Ciloglu knows that he's got to make sure that he dominates the grip. He's got to make sure that he not only dominates the grip, and you can see here that straight away he is dominating that sleeve and getting that big right arm over the back, and that big right arm thundering over the back of Ebinuma, who is a left-hander. Remember, Ciloglu is right-handed here predominantly, so we have this kind of W effect here with the legs, and he's just pulling him in all the time and attacking all the time. Not great attacks and not fantastic judo, but nevertheless still piling up the attacks. Remember that Ebinuma hasn't scored or attacked once yet. And I was approached by a couple of people actually during this fight who said, you know, how is this allowed to happen? How is somebody like Ebinuma, because of course they're great Ebinuma fans, how is this allowed to happen that somebody who is a spoiler like Ciloglu here, how are they allowed to even look like winning a match like this? But it's tactics. And there's the big arm over again, and we can see that that big arm over the top there really causing great problems for Ebinuma, and Ebinuma just doesn't know what to do with him. One of the main points with Ciloglu is that he never took a step back. It was always coming forwards, and he had a plan. He was extreme right-handed, and remember, Ebinuma was left, so we had this W effect all the time. But Ciloglu, and the fight was, as is always with right against left, was either the sleeve here. Sometimes Ciloglu got the sleeve first, threw the big right hand over the top here, and this was what was causing Ebinuma so many problems. But the interesting thing is that he didn't always look for the sleeve, and he went here onto the lapel, threw this big bomb over here, and he was feeding the leg through. So he'd feed this leg through all the time, and sometimes drop in for the sumigaeshi, but it was this arm over the top here that caused so much trouble. Sumigaeshi is the technique that he's using. Not fantastic, is it, to throw for Ippon? Well, it's debatable, isn't it? But again, big arm over, there's the arm, and he's using it all the time just to beat Ebinuma to the punch, the metaphorical punch that is. Here he nearly gets himself into trouble. Ebinuma, of course, here just needs to tie up the top half. Can he tie it up in time? But, and this is an important point here, look at where his head is here. His head is brought forwards by Ciloglu, and Ciloglu manages to escape the leg coming out. So there was one moment of the contest. Ciloglu, from this position here, tries the Sumigaeshi. As he does the Sumigaeshi here, he gets into a situation where, of course, it is possible for Ebinuma to take the leg out. But what he does, again, there was a situation this time, is that he keeps Ebinuma's head high up here. He doesn't let this settle. If he'd let this settle, then of course it's possible for Ebinuma to take that leg out. But he kept him high, yet again upsetting the balance of Ebinuma, and this time in Newaza. And it meant that it was mate, and they stood up again. Out. So mate called, and they have to stand up. So at this moment, I would say that Ebinuma is saying to himself, what do I do here against a very, very acute right-hander? I'm a left-hander. Normally left-handers are much better equipped at fighting righties than the other way around, because there's 70% of the population are right-handers. So they fight a lot more in practice and in competitions than the other way around. And there it is again. And what we're going to do here is let's just play it back and just have a look here at this big right hand coming over the top here. And it's over the top, and it's causing Ebinuma so many problems. He's onto the belt here, and an attack, not a good attack, but he breaks the balance of Ebinuma. Of course, what Ebinuma wanted, he wanted sleeve and he wanted lapel. He wanted the inside grip because a lot of his techniques operate on the inside. Ciloglu, he knew this. His plan, catch this, arm over the top. Every time he went over the top, he collapsed this arm here and kept him tight. He stopped any kind of distance that he needed, that Ebinuma needed, in order that he could attack here. It was a tactic that worked. First Shido up for Ebinuma, and he's having real problems against the stance. And I've got to say that at this stage here, Ciloglu looking in great shape. So he's really playing to his strengths here, isn't he? Which is he has really good condition. And just sometimes, I mean, we can see there that Ebinuma getting just that little bit desperate and tries a Sumigaeshi himself just to try and put an attack in here. He can't afford a second penalty, otherwise he's in trouble. So not always going, so it almost gets counted there. That was quite close, wasn't it there? Ebinuma quite close to catching him. He's desperate at this stage. Ciloglu not always looking for the sleeve and then the lapel over the top. So sometimes just looking for the lapel grip. So have a look for the lapel grip coming on. And there it is. So he has the lapel grip now, and then the arm coming over the top, and again almost comes unstuck, but not quite. But again, an attack from him. And this is another main point here. Ebinuma is stopping, killing the techniques of Ciloglu. So you can't say that Ciloglu dropped, because it's Ebinuma who's blocking the attack and making sure that he goes to ground. So you can't give him a Shido for it. What happened with Ciloglu is that when he was in this position here, he had to be careful that this leg here didn't stay in too long. So what he did then, he used the Sumigaeshi as an attack. But of course you've got to be careful that they don't just stop you dead. But what he did from here is he always moved his opponent. So Ebinuma always moved. He broke the balance. So it wasn't counted as a false attack. One of the things that Ciloglu did throughout the whole contest was he kept moving. So once he got this arm over, which caused so many problems, he would keep moving all the time here, and he would either attack to the front here or with the Sumigaeshi. But this is the other point, is that he often attacked from this position forwards, and when he did this, of course, Ebinuma, once he come in here, would push him downwards, and he would stop the attack. Now, you could say that it's a false attack, and this is where a lot of people get mixed up. If I attack, let go, and just go down to ground, then it is a false attack. But if I keep a grip here, and I go in with the intention to throw here, and my opponent now pushes me down to ground, that's different and can't be classed as a false attack, or it can't be classed as no attack. There is a difference, but, and this is the important thing, it was the fact that whatever happened, Ciloglu put Ebinuma ill at ease, and he made him off balance. He never settled in so that he could throw. Sumigaeshi again, and manages to break the balance of Ebinuma, and the referee, looking at this stage, giving Ebinuma a second penalty. She doesn't do it. Coming up to first 4 minutes, and so far, all the way through the first 4 minutes of this contest, Ciloglu has spoilt, absolutely ruined the technical judo of Ebinuma. His tactics to keep the same up in this next period, which is golden score period. So it's either sleeve arm over the top or it's lapel arm over the top from Ciloglu. And he's just being beaten to the metaphorical punch every single time here, Ebinuma. He's been beaten to the attack. So let's have a look at this in slow motion. So changes to the Sumigaeshi again, breaks the balance of Ebinuma. And a second penalty given to Ebinuma. So now he has to come forwards, and Ciloglu realizes that he has a chance here. Poor attack there from Ciloglu. He's going to get penalized for this. But again, I thought that perhaps it was Ebinuma that blocked it out. But 2 penalties to 1. And now Ebinuma, a good attack off the grip. But he's not managing, is he, to get 2 hands on, and it is a real problem for Ebinuma to settle. Ciloglu, I think, doing everything from a tactical point of view that he should be doing. If he just grips up with Ebinuma, Ebinuma's going to throw him, remember that. So there's the sleeve. So he catches the sleeve, arm over the top again. So this grip here, again causing Ebinuma all sorts of problems. This time off the lapel. So let's just play it back. Let's play this back here just to have a quick look at the grip from Ciloglu. So there's Ciloglu's grip. We can see here that Ciloglu has the lapel, and of course we can see that the big arm here over the top, causing all sorts of problems for Ebinuma. So Sumigaeshi again out of danger for Ciloglu, and looks like Ebinuma here really struggling not to get the third Shido. And you might look at this and you might think, well, this isn't fair, and somebody of Ebinuma's judo ability should be winning the match. But as far as tactics are concerned, Ciloglu doing everything right. Now Ebinuma gets a third Shido here, and well, you could look at that and go, that's not fair. So he gets the benefit of the doubt. He gets the benefit of the doubt, and he gets it taken off. So now he's got a chance again. So he tries to come forward again, and Ciloglu exactly the same here. Arm over the back. He catches the lapel or he catches the sleeve, whichever comes first, and then sends the big right arm over the back. It's great tactics from the Turk. It's the only tactics, as far as I'm concerned, that he could have done in order to win this contest. Because remember, if he goes judo for judo, he's not going to win. And of course, Ebinuma here really struggling. There's a Sumigaeshi again from Ciloglu, and Ebinuma is going to get third Shido and Honsokomaki. Ciloglu absolutely steals the match. You might look at this and you might think that's not fair. It is fair. It's good tactical play by Ciloglu. It's opposite styles, and Ebinuma was well and truly mugged. There is no one that likes technical judo to win more than me, but sometimes tactics are essential. But it has to be, I think, positive tactics as opposed to negative tactics. And I think that there still has to be an intention to throw. Obviously, there's a technical difference here between these two fighters. But Ciloglu definitely had a plan. He came out and then he initiated that plan. And Ebinuma had a real problem to adapt to it. So he got outplayed in the game of judo. And that's what it was, wasn't it? It was a game. It was a game that Ebinuma, in this case, lost. And it goes to show that in competition, it's not always technically the superior fighter that wins through. But we still need to aim for Ippon. It's not fair. And we could look at this match and we could go, that wasn't fair. But it was fair. And it was fair that, from a tactical point of view, sometimes we have to allow that to win. We have a set of rules, and sometimes we can play to the edge. We can't break the rules, but we can play to the edge. In this case, Ciloglu was the winner. Next time out, maybe Ebinuma's going to come back and he's going to correct his game in order to win. That's what makes our game so interesting. Hi there, I'm Neil Adams, former world champion and double Olympic medalist. Now you might know me from the World Judo Tour as a commentator and now as an IJF referee supervisor. I'm happy to announce my new partnership with Athlete Analyzer as one of their analysts in the new marketplace, where you can find top-level coaches there to help you at any level. I'm looking forward to being a part of your coaching team to help you find your technical excellence and to take you to that next level. Hopefully, the suggestions I give you and your techniques, strategies and execution can help you towards Ippon Judo and total success on the mat. So, I hope you select me to be your technical coach, and together we can give you the power to be more.
Oh, he's done it again! Wow, goodness me, I don't think I've ever seen a technique like it. That's the throw of the tournament.